What's up? It's Luke, and I want to talk about how Bitcoin prevents and reduces wars. Currently, there are a lot of global conflicts and wars that are going on. There is the Ukrainian war against Russia, there's the Israel-Palestine conflict, there's the Taiwan conflict, and then there is obviously the North Korea one. There's other small ones happening, but those are the major wars. And the United States actually enjoys having wars because we are the largest exporter of weapons. So we actually profit off of this. But we also um, end up paying for these wars as well. We're supporting Ukraine and giving them aid, and we are going to support Israel and give them aid as well. So we've spent, as you can see, a lot of money on this war. And people always wonder, like, well, how are we in debt? What does U.S. debt even mean? We take out debt to pay for their war because this is money that we owe to ourselves. We just print it and take out the loan to ourselves and have no plans of paying this back, but we don't even get any of it. We send it all away to Ukraine. And Russia and Ukraine both do the same thing. They print their own currency and fund this war. They buy weapons, they buy ammunition, they buy all sorts of stuff for the war. And as you can see, the Russian ruble has gone down in value as they are inflating their currency to buy war items. And it's the same thing with the Ukrainian currency. They keep printing and inflating to pay for the war. And this is obviously very bad. If you're a citizen in one of these two countries, you've noticed that things are getting more expensive and your currency is not going as far. But these are both if you compare it to the US dollar. But what if you compare the dollar to something like Bitcoin? Well, even the dollar is getting destroyed against Bitcoin and is going to zero. So these currencies in terms of the dollars are going down, and the dollar in terms of Bitcoin is even worse. So how does Bitcoin prevent wars? Well, if a government were to have a Bitcoin-backed currency where every single dollar had a certain amount of Bitcoin and that was interchangeable, it would mean that the governments would need to actually have the money in order to fund the war. And they would not be able to just print infinite fiat and infinite dollars to fund the war forever and profit off of it at the same time. A Bitcoin-backed currency would make it such that if the war was favorable by the citizens, they would have to raise taxes and collect the money from the population and not just print it themselves. This would reduce the number of wars that would even start because I think most citizens would not want to get into a useless war unless it was for defense or a real need. Then people would obviously vote and they would be fine paying the taxes to protect their country. This would also reduce the length of wars because if a country runs out of money, unless it's a serious threat, somebody would give them aid. But if they run out of money, then the war would be over. And yeah, so if you found this interesting, subscribe.